Are you living in fate, or are you living in destiny? We live on a polarity planet. There are two paths that you can take with your life. Fate is when you're letting your life happen to you and you're reacting to external stimuli. Destiny is when you're living the life that you intended to live, when you are doing your mission and when you're living a life that's in alignment with your highest self. We have a choice. We can live in fate, we can live in destiny. Most of the world lives a fated path. They are allowing life to happen to them. Events conspire and they take on the idea that this is happening to me, forgetting that everything that happens is happening for you. Yes, difficult circumstances will arise. Things we perceive as bad and negative will happen. And it's in those moments that we have to recognize that this is happening for us. And when you can recognize that all of the difficulties, all of the challenges that you are facing have actually come up and conspired to be in your life so that you can grow, so that you can rise from that and go to somewhere higher, then you're getting off of the fated path and you're moving toward the destiny. Destiny is all about purpose. Destiny is all about mission. You see, everybody comes to this planet with a very specific purpose, and it's a very individualized curriculum on this planet. Your mission, what you're supposed to do with your life, is very different from mine. And many people forget what their mission is. We drink from the River Lethe before we come to this planet. When we drink the waters, we forget what we pre-planned. We forget all the prior incarnations. That's by design. We forget to remember. And somewhere along the line, we have to remember. We have to wake up to what our destiny is. If you have no clue what your destiny is, if you have no clue what it is you came on the planet to do, all you have to do is slow down, take a deep breath, and start taking an inventory of yourself. Because the talents that you have, the innate passions, the things that you're interested in, the things that get you excited on some level, even if those are deeply buried and have deeply been suppressed, those give you clues to the destiny. Those tell you something about the mission that you're on. Most of us come into life, and when we're very young, we're very certain about what our destiny is. You know, even if we're not able to express it, we come in with creativity, we come in with visions, we come in with excitement. And then we're born into a family system often that isn't nurturing to that. Sometimes it's very antagonistic to that. If we don't get that programming from the family system, we certainly pick it up from the broader culture. And even if we live in a community space where we have got a great family, we've got a nurturing community, there's still this collective fear that gets into our auric field and that demagnetizes our magnetism, and that makes it more difficult for us to live the destiny path, that makes the fated path more enticing. So we have to always be aware of which path we're on. And a lot of us go through periods where we're living in destiny and then things happen. Life gets hard, we're presented with challenges, and we have to start doing a job we're not that into, or we meet someone and for whatever reason we get into a relationship dynamic that is kind of pulling us back. And that's okay. What's not okay, though, is to stay on that path once you recognize that whatever you're doing isn't healthy. That's when you have to path hop. That's when you have to timeline jump. Because timeline jumping, all of that is, it's, big fancy woo-woo concept, is there's a version of you that's just living in fate. There's a version of you that's just going along, reacting. And then there's a version of you that says, no, I'm actually going to do the thing I came here to do. I'm actually going to do the thing I'm passionate about. I'm actually going to live the life I want to live. When you make that decision, you've jumped timelines. The way that this matrix works is there's a version of you playing out that is living your life one way. Maybe you're living the dream right now. There's a version of you that didn't make those choices to live that dream. And then maybe you're not living the dream right now. Maybe you're kind of in a ho-hum job, in a relationship you don't like, living somewhere you don't like. Well, there's a version of you that made different choices. And that version is playing out in another reality, in another matrix. So if you want that to be your reality in this reality, all you have to do is start making some small choices. Start making some small steps. I'll tell a little story about myself just to kind of illustrate how this works. So I am a Leo. I am a creative person. I'm somebody who has a real passion for making change on this planet and seeing the world that we live in now be better in the future. And for a while, I was doing work that involved the broader collective when I was younger. And then, you know, life happened to me. I had to make money. I had to pay bills. I had credit card debt. I had student loans. I got tired of living in the city that I was living, so I had to save money to move to Los Angeles. And along the way, I met a lot of great people. I had some jobs that were great, but I kind of just wound up in this very uncreative business. And while I'm very, very grateful for the resources that it brought and for the discipline that it gave me and for what I was able to create with it, I allowed myself to get so stuck in the faded energy of just sort of day-to-day grind that I lost my creativity. And that's 100% on me. That's my choices. That's the way that I reacted to external stimuli. That took me off of my destiny path of being a creator, of being somebody who wanted to move the collective consciousness forward. And the way that this all works is, you know, it's all happening for us, not to us. My business started to sputter out. I wasn't making as much money. Things got really difficult in the industry that I've been working in. And I was confronted and I had to make a choice. What is it that I want to do? And it was so obvious to me that the only way out was through. And the only way out of whatever circumstance you're in that you want out of is to go through into the destiny path. So I just opened myself up to creative possibilities. At that time, it seemed impossible that I could make money doing anything else. And then I took a trip back to Wichita, where I'm from. Last summer, I reconnected with some old friends. And not too long after that, they reached out to me and asked if I wanted to start doing some writing with an organization that they work for. It was kind of a full circle thing because I used to cover the art scene in Wichita, and now I'm working with several musicians writing and helping tell their story. So that reignited my creative spark. That reminded me, like, oh yeah, this is part of your destiny. You are destined to be a writer and to use words to tell the stories of others. And then I've always been very interested in astrology, in esoteric studies. I've been studying Kundalini Yoga, practicing Kundalini Yoga for about 12 years, and always had the desire to share the teachings, to share the knowledge, but really held myself back out of fear. Fear that, who am I to put myself on camera and talk about this? What will people think? People will think I'm crazy. You probably do, and that's okay. I just decided one day that I didn't care, and I was going to start speaking, and I was going to start talking about the things that I'm passionate about. And here, 6 months later, I am now doing astrology readings for people. I'm getting paid to help people understand their charts and to be an astrological counselor to people. And that's been extremely rewarding to be able to use the knowledge that I have and continue to expand upon to help people who are around me understand more about themselves and understand how they can get on the destiny path. And life is an unfolding journey. My greatest desire, the thing that I want most out of my life, is to build a bridge to the Age of Aquarius. And I want to do that by creating physical spaces or creating experiences where people can come together in community and understand more about this changing timeline and understand more about the technology that we have available to us to maximize our soul growth during this turning of the ages. And I'm already meeting people. The universe has already brought people into my life that have a similar vision. And I'm already seeing ways that we can co-create and we can interdependently build that bridge. So that's an example of when you get yourself out of the mindset of I am fated to live a certain way, or I will only make a certain amount of money, or I will never be able to have X, Y, and Z, and you open yourself up to the possibility that no, I came here to do something greater. That's when you start to live the destiny path. And look, there's something that you have that needs to be expressed. You have a gift. You have talent. You have something that this world needs to see. You just have to start doing it. The moment you do it, you timeline jump and you're living the path of destiny. So I want to know, what is your destiny? And are you living it? And if you're not living it, don't be ashamed. Just decide that you're going to start living it. Do something small to start putting yourself on that destiny path. So let's all be in destiny together. Let's have a victory in this life, and let's all build that bridge to the Age of Aquarius, because that bridge requires you, it requires me, it requires all of us, brick by brick, person by person, destiny by destiny. Sat Nam.